his screws loose, they done stripped the bolts on him. Shoulda never sent him to pick up the work for me. Sprayed the park and had my shit inside the car. Marcus Smart Boy was shooting with a 36 on him. Said if he wasn't in the rush, they was all goners. Tech cursive on the chest,
all right. Greetings, Chudlings. Welcome to another episode of Chuddy's Corner. It's Friday, December 8th. Just a little bit, about 10:20 here on the East Coast. Celtics pick up the win tonight over the Knicks, 133-123. We're here to break it down. As always, I'm your host, Dugouts. With me, King Chuddy. How you doing, Chud?
Doing well. Feels like it's been way too long, so it's just nice to have Celtics basketball back in our lives, and nice to see him play well, pick up a win.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was a pretty extended break. I feel like we were at a very fevered pace with the games. I feel like we were playing every other night. Yeah. So this felt absolutely like an eternity. But yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back on the podcast. Good to see the Celtics play, and especially good to see the Celtics pick up a win. Before we get started, make sure you follow me and Chuddy on Twitter. I'm at Doug_outs. He's at King Chuddy. Make sure you're following the show page at Chuddy's Corner. And make sure, if you're listening to this podcast, that you subscribed to wherever you listen to the podcast from, whether it be Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. We're on anywhere you can find a podcast. Make sure you go on there and subscribe. And a special thanks to our sponsor, NickParino.com. Nick Parino, all your real estate needs. Check him out. NickParino.com also hosts Chuddy's weekly NBA Power Rankings too. So we're putting some more content out there on the website as well. But yeah, we'll dive right into it. Celtics 133-123. Derrick White 30-point game. Chud, go ahead. I see. Hopefully with the new glasses, you got a whole new perspective on the game. So how clearly did you see this game tonight?
I think the TV was just speaking to me in every way possible. It's nice to be able to actually watch what I'm analyzing. Much less guesswork. So that's huge. That is huge. The analysis should only get better from here. So if you've already been listening, just be prepared for it to get even better. But yeah, so what I saw tonight, first of all, huge to have Kristaps Porzgingis back in the lineup. Nice to see that he looked good out there. Didn't show a lot of rust. I mean, looked fully healthy. Played 29 minutes, which is not like super high, but didn't seem like there was any kind of minutes limit on him or anything. Came out absolutely smoking. I think he hit his first 7 shots. Scored the first 8 points of the game. He had a dunk on underneath play and then 2 threes on the next 2 possessions. So good to see him back, and really just good to see the Celtics starting lineup together again. They looked really good, really locked in. The Celtics offense, I thought, looked just about unstoppable, especially through 3 quarters. I mean, this is when they're playing like that and everyone's making the shots, I'm really not sure what you do to stop this team. And so much of that is Porzingis, even besides the hot shooting, just what he opens up on the floor, the way he pulls a big guy out of the lane. The driving lanes were open all night. The Celtics were basically getting whatever they wanted on offense, kind of taking turns driving. It seemed like they were either able to drive to the basket, get easy layups, or kick out to open shooters. For the most part, we were hitting our threes, so just great to see. And again, the game just looks so easy. The floor is so wide open. And against the Knicks team that's a really tough, physical, defensive team. I mean, they're no slouches. This isn't exactly putting up that kind of points against, the Hornets or the Pacers or what have you. This is a really good defensive team. They played hard. They played disciplined. They're going to get up for a game like this against the Celtics, and the Celtics just basically had their way with them on offense. Like I said, getting anything they wanted, great looks nonstop the entire night. Great to see, and just nice to see what this team can do at full strength, and to see that, didn't even take like a minute to get Porzingis back acclimated right into it. He was great. Great to see that all around. The Celtics defense, on the other hand, was not great. Did not give up much resistance, and it was kind of the same thing on the other end for the Knicks. They were just getting into the paint over and over and over again, and that is just, at some point, you got to get in front of someone and stop penetration. Our perimeter defense was so lackluster, and the same thing, it was just like the Knicks were getting into the paint at will, and it just seemed like all of their main guys, Brunson, Barrett, I mean, the amount of just kind of like layups and short little jumpers in the paint and hook shots, whatever, over and over again. Like, it really wasn't even the stuff that usually kills us. The offensive rebounding, they had 4, I think, right in the first 6 minutes, and then they didn't have another one till, I think then they only had 5 until the end. They got a few junky ones in the fourth quarter, but overall, I thought the rebounding was fine. It was really just their shot making. I mean, the Knicks shot over 50% from the field and over 40% from threes, and a lot of that is just they were getting really good looks. I mean, there's an absolute shootout through 3 quarters. It felt a lot like kind of that weird Philly game the other night, that I think last Friday, feels like it was months ago now, but where it was just such a back and forth track meet. And again, the Knicks are not that kind of team at all. They have one of the, I think, the second slowest pace in the NBA. They're top 10 defense. So unusual type of game. And but then the Celtics finally started to pour it on third quarter, which again has been our bugaboo. It was the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. The Celtics pulled away largely thanks to Tatum kind of taking over, and he was just seeing the floor so well. He made a couple baskets, made a couple good reads to get open threes, pushed the lead out to 9. Third quarter was the opposite of our third quarter woes. It seemed like there was whatever Maz said in the locker room. He was going to make sure we were not going to come out and have another flat third quarter. The Celtics looked great in the third, pushed the lead all the way out to 20, and then just got a little lackadaisical in the fourth quarter. The game got kind of just like gross on both ends. Both teams, just the shot making was bad. The obvious ref show that got involved that we'll talk about, I'm sure, but Jaylen Brown, if you didn't see it, got a tee that seemed like a questionable tee. I mean, he was pissed about a call, basically, that seemed like there's no consistency in the whistle. Shocker. Jaylen gets teed up, arguing a call, whatever. Goes to the bench, said something on the bench, and they give him another tee on the bench, toss him right after. Just
shout out Joey Crawford.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Jaylen's not a guy who's really bitches to the ref a lot either. Like, I don't know. It seemed like he was clearly upset, more upset than you usually see him. But just again, a super quick whistle to be throwing out a superstar like in that situation. It's just there's just no need for that. He's already on the bench. He's already walking away. He said one more thing, and you're gonna toss him. They showed the replay. It wasn't like he was making throwing a fit on the bench. Like he just basically yelled one more thing at the ref, and they just threw him out from the bench. Like.
Yeah.
Just stupid.
Yeah, I definitely want to get more into that.
Yeah, and then
more thoughts.
That kind of mucked up the whole game. It just seemed like it was really slow. Part of that, again, both teams missing shots. Part of it, I think, a little more defense. Finally, Celtics started playing some D, getting some stops. We were missing a lot of shots. Again, it almost turned into like a free throw contest for a little bit there. It just seemed like there was nonstop whistles after that. But then the Celtics weren't getting any calls, so it's kind of weird. But ultimately, good to see the Celtics have some good possessions down the stretch. They did that thing kind of again where they started slowing it down a little too early. The Knicks, as we know, a team that just doesn't quit. I mean, even when we were up 20, it felt like they just wouldn't die, kept hanging on. Got it to within, like 7 or 8, I think, in the last couple of minutes. It got a little too close for comfort after the Brown ejection, but had some really good possessions. Largely Derrick White, who you mentioned, was just spectacular, and he seems to be that guy in the clutch. When the Celtics slow down, sure enough, they get the ball to Derrick. He immediately flies to the cup for a quick layup, then we got to stop. Right back to Derrick, flew in there, drew a foul, 2 shots, pushed the lead back up to double digits, and that was kind of it. Able to hang on. It was nice to finally hold the Knicks under 30 points in a quarter in that fourth, even though they got 28. But again, for the Celtics to score 133 points, and that was with only scoring 24 in the fourth. Like, pretty bad and slow fourth quarter offensively, but 109 points through 3 quarters. Just an amazing output against this defense. Again, firing on all cylinders and then able to close it out largely with defense. So a few frustrating moments, but overall, I think a really, really solid win. And just, again, good to see the team back at full strength and immediately kind of clicking like that.
Yeah. I agree most with a lot of the stuff you're saying. I do think one of your keys was to be getting rebounding. So I think the fact that, like I said, the fourth quarter, the stat gets a little bit skewed. It was 13-6. The Knicks out rebounded us in the fourth quarter, but up until that, we were pretty much keeping pace with them. It finished 44-34 in rebounding in the Knicks' favor, which still isn't terrible, but I do think that fourth quarter kind of skewed a little bit of that because I was sort of keeping up my eye on that stat like the whole game. We were keeping it relatively close, and I think that made a lot of the difference there. Knicks had them 21-13 on second chance points. I think that you can live with that too.
Yeah,
I mean, that wasn't too big of a differential at all. That third quarter, like you said, they played much different than what we've seen from the team in the third quarter. They did mention a stat during the game, so I wonder if it has anything to do with Porzingis being back in the lineup. The team's net rating in the third quarter with Porzingis in the lineup is a plus 6.6. Without Porzingis is a minus 9.6, so that's a pretty big swing. So that might have just been the issue. We just needed Porzingis back in the lineup. And, I'm sure that there was some other things. I almost was thinking that they should just not even go into the locker room at halftime and just hang out on the court. So it's just like, don't even think about this as halftime or anything like that. Just come out as if you're going, between the first and second quarter. But thankfully they did manage to figure it out. Like you said, they scored, I think it was 35-28 in the third quarter. So again, 28
and that was
points.
With a 9-0 run by the Knicks in the last 2 minutes too. They, like I said, they had It would have been. It was even bigger than probably the score indicates how well they actually came out and played in that third. So
yeah, and even with the Knicks scoring the 28, to me, just the fact that we scored 35, because I think the problem has just been our ability to score a lot in those third quarters. So it was great. It was great to see that. It's great to see Porzingis back in the lineup. 21 points, 3 rebounds. He had 2 steals also. Like you said, 29 minutes. So I don't think he was on any type of minute restriction. That seems pretty normal. Joe said he wasn't going to be on a minute restriction, and it definitely didn't seem like that. He was in there at pretty much any moment you would want him to be in there. Can't say enough about Al Horford, 14 points,
Incredible.
10 rebounds. Guys, he's just a timeless legend. Really, it seemed like, the shots, 14 points, but it seemed like every shot he was shooting was just coming at a time when it really helped out the momentum of the game too.
Huge buckets.
He hit that 3 to, I think it was at the end of the second quarter, or was it third quarter? Oh yeah,
I think he actually had, I think each, but that big one at the end of the third, they had
right after the Knicks had
run,
scored a 3,
9-0 run for the Knicks. They'd cut it to 10 or 11, and Al hit that 3 on the kick out from Tatum right before the buzzer.
Yeah, I think Holiday got really involved early in the offense, which is nice. He finished with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. That just seems like just a very Holiday stat line right there. But yeah, I liked how aggressive he was to start the game. We got to see when he's down there in the post around the hoop and stuff like that. It's just crazy. And the way he can finish too with his left hand is pretty impressive also.
Yeah, it's like he just plays bully ball. His main offense is just bullying his way to the rim and finishing with his left hand, which is just hilarious offense for like a point guard, but extremely effective when he has a smaller guy on him.
Yeah, so just, overall, I mean, Jaylen too, before he got ejected, still 17 points.
I thought Jaylen quietly was having a great game. I just loved the way he was playing. He was picking his spots. I thought every time we needed a basket, he would take over, make something happen. I thought he had a really good passing game, really good defensive game, and just, he didn't end up with a lot of shots. He got to 19 points, obviously, basically missed the whole fourth quarter, but I love the way he was playing. Honestly, everyone I thought who played had a really good game, even if the guys who the stats don't jump at you. A rare off night shooting for Hauser, but I thought it was great to see that again, he was really affecting the game positively. He had a couple huge rebounds, he had a huge block, he had the huge offensive rebound when the game got tight near the end.
He was
kept
putting
the possession
the clamps
alive
on guys too.
Yeah, we've talked about this all year, but the fact that he's come to the point where even on a night where he's missing every shot he's taking, he still seems like he's positively contributing out there. That's just absolutely huge. Not so much for the Chuddy Parlay.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll get into the Chuddy Parlay. I'll make a note to make sure we come back to that. I don't know what the hell's going on. But I will say also real quick while we're talking about Hauser, shout out Hauser, happy birthday Hauser. 26, that's just crazy to me. Makes me feel old when I hear guys 26 years old. It's like Al seems so old, but in reality, I'm closer to Al's age than I am half the almost the rest of the team. So
yeah, so I think it's time to just realize we're pretty much older than almost every professional.
We are washed. I know. Professional sports, it's only gonna get weirder, I guess. But yeah. So again, I think the whole team just came out and played really well. I was definitely a little bit nervous about. I feel like in the past, we've had long breaks between games. We've sometimes struggled. So it was good. This was an especially long break. Last game was on Monday, so.
Right.
Yeah, just a whole lot of good stuff in the game. Again, the fourth quarter got a little bit hairy there. I think that Joe used some good timeouts in that period to just kind of gain things under control, especially right after the Jaylen ejection.
Yes. And I liked how he was actually mixing it up with the ref. He seems like he's never really gets in the ref's faces and angry, so it was good to see him kind of jawing at the ref after that, and he had just a hilarious reaction. He just kind of scoffed and almost started laughing at how whatever the ref said. It was just preposterous. And it was.
Well, I guess so. We can pivot right to that now. That ref just looks like the absolute definition of just a fucking squid who just is the softest. Again, Jaylen. The first tech I thought was awful, but I understand it. Sure, you gotta
give him a tech.
He kind of pointed. Sure, it's all right, shut up, cut the crap or whatever. And who knows? But the fact that he boots an NBA player and a good one of the top 25, 30 players in the league
and not a guy who usually argues.
Yeah, for that it's just. It's what are we doing? I don't understand. There has to be some kind of repercussion for a ref when a ref does
on
something
the bench,
like that.
Literally on the bench, walking away from the refs.
Exactly.
It's easy to just not hear him or ignore. You have to be looking for a reason to toss him at that point.
Yeah, and I just don't. I don't even understand like what the like letter of like the law is on that, because it's just like, is it just like if the ref feels like
There
their
isn't
feelings
one.
are hurt, they can
Yeah.
tee you
Oh
up?
yeah.
It's just like,
There's no like. Yeah,
but
they
like
always say like,
that's
oh, there's some magic word, but it's like not. It's like the ref just.
right. But I
I
mean,
don't know.
this. But I'm saying like the NBA has to have like rules, right?
I
For
wish
like,
they had a more consistent. Like I would. I don't know the exact language in the rule book, but it's probably just like conduct that is, I don't even know, like unbecoming of an NBA player. Like, but it's just a judgment at the end of the day. And you, I mean, you see it. You watch different games, different refs will call texts for different things at different times and seemingly
I mean, do
different
you
ways for
remember
different players. Like, it's just
LeBron
crazy.
last year, like
Oh yeah,
rolling around on the floor like a
of course.
infant child,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
yeah.
I do.
I just can't. I don't know. It just for
That
again.
same exact thing that happened tonight with Jaylen, the same exact scenario happened with LeBron. I doubt he even would get one technical.
No, probably not. No, and again, it just like the first one, whatever.
Still
To,
stupid,
to
but
to kick a player out of the game is just, it's just
and I mean,
banana land.
especially
We're living
after
in an
you
absolute banana land world with the
after
rep.
you give a guy a soft tee like that or whatever, I feel like you have to give him a minute to like cool. It's like, okay, you gave him the tee, now like let him get it all out.
Right.
But like,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
he
You're
if
on
he
the
go
tee.
if that like gets him more fired up and he's like trying to like get in your face, like whatever, obviously that's one thing. But that's clearly not what happened. He was just pissed about the call. He again was walking away, was cooling down. Like like I said, you just have to be like looking for a reason at that point to do it, because there's just that I don't see any way how that improves the game, how it helps the game. There was no like he wasn't doing anything egregious, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, again, luckily we were able to bounce back. It definitely like took some of the momentum away, and again, Jaylen was kind of had it going there in that fourth. He made a few huge plays. They just cut it to 10. He had that awesome and one. He had hit a three, like just crazy again to like get him out of there on that and potentially ruin a good game. Nobody hates good basketball more than NBA referees.
They're out of control. And there's
so
no the thing is that I just feel like there's never any like type of repercussions for it. Like,
no,
they
and
don't.
this isn't like a directly related to tonight's ref crew or a call they made, but all those stupid friggin' technicals that Tatum's gotten for hanging on the rim when he has just been trying to save himself. You could tell tonight he had that breakaway dunk and he like awkwardly let go so fast he fell and almost hurt himself.
Yeah.
And it's clearly because it's in his head about all these friggin' technicals. So I was like, now he's endangering himself to avoid a stupid technical, and he fell, almost got hurt, and then is on the ground, and the Knicks pushed it up, and Brunson had a wide open three. So it's just like, I don't know.
Do the refs ever have to like take questions from the media or anything like that?
Yeah.
So
there's a pool report after every game. The lead official goes and explains. There's only like a few questions and a few media I think who are allowed, but they do have to answer questions. So
see, that seems just so crazy to me. The players, they'll like lose the most heartbreaking fashion possible, and they immediately have to go to like a room full of people just asking like trolling questions. And the refs, I feel like that whatever that is, the questions are probably just like, so what about? They're like, oh, okay. There's like no pushback or anything. Like, it's just crazy. Like if you're gonna kick a player out of a game like that in that situation, it's just.
Well, I'll be curious to see at the pool report tonight what the explanation for that second tech is. And unless it's like
it's gonna be some bullshit about the guy's feelings getting hurt.
Well, right, but unless he's like exactly, there's very few explanations that would justify what happened. But I'll be just curious to see how they even try to explain it, because that was pathetic.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Too much ref talk, but.
Yeah, that was, but they deserve, like, fuck them.
No, it is super frustrating, and again, like I said, luckily we rebounded and were able to hold on, but for a game that was getting close against a rival, like a hotly contested game in the fourth quarter, to kick out one of the stars of the game for that is, again, just I can't imagine anyone in the NBA front office, like, wants that to happen or thinks that that's at all good for the league. Like, there's nothing he did that you would think, like, yes, this is something that we want to make sure that players are thrown out for doing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just unfathomable. But again, too bad, because Jaylen was really starting to cook. I thought he had a really good game. Overall, like I liked the way he was playing. It seemed like he was driving with purpose every time he got the ball or getting into really good shots. He had a few plays. I noticed one a couple times pulling up. It looked like he could have just kind of chucked the three, he pump faked, and had nice entry passes to Porzingis. Little things like that again, don't show up in the box score, but very good, helpful play, just smart basketball. And I thought that was kind of the theme of the game for the whole team. It was just like everyone making the right play. We had the extra pass. I think only 7 turnovers for the whole game. Like, that's awesome to go with like 24 assists. And again, it was just everyone. It was like smart drives, and when the help came, kicking out, getting great looks. I mean, we shot over, I said about the Knicks, but it's true for the Celtics too, to shoot over 50 from the field, over 40 from three, and it was just great shot quality all around. So again, when the Celtics move the ball like that, are playing that quickly, and are hitting shots at an even like decent rate, which again, I don't think they had some like amazing shooting night. A lot of those were just really good, wide open, like corner shots generated by good offense. So again, the Celtics moved the ball like that, and it was just coming from all angles tonight. Again, Derrick was amazing. The Jays were honestly pretty quiet, and they each kind of had their stretches where they got it going, but it was really Porzingis and White in the first half with a little bit of Drew. Al just rock solid throughout, but again, just good to see. Like Geek said, he played offense like that, and a lot of other things almost aren't even going to matter. So
yeah,
really encouraging on offense. And again, so much of it goes down to Porzingis, even beyond the numbers, just the way he spaces the floor, how he can pick and pop. You saw a few times where Robinson and Hartenstein are not big guys who want to play on the perimeter, but with Porzingis, when he comes out and he's raining threes from 5 feet behind the line, you have no choice. And you could see a couple plays where we would run a pick and roll, pick and pop, and Porzingis would pop out, and the big like almost didn't know what to do. There's one play they showed where Hartenstein like went to help on White and then knew he had to get back to Porzingis, and he basically just cleared out the lane, and White had a wide open dunk. So again, that's like all just Porzingis setting screens and spacing the floor. And when that lane is wide open, everyone on our team can drive to the basket, and it was like layup lines.
I think that, like, I think you said in the last podcast, like, Porzingis, I mean, the team is really good when he's not without him, but I think at the end of the day, he's the guy that stirs the drink for, like you said, not only just what his skill is, but what how he forces other teams to play against us. So, and I think he did all right too tonight, just overall, down low, not like playing like big, but I think that he was definitely kind of making an impact on a lot of the stuff that was happening down low. Guys were having to adjust their shots and things like that.
You could tell he was battling on the boards too. Yeah, again, he's never going to be grabbing. He's never going to be grabbing 20 rebounds.
But I think that he kind of like assisted in a lot of rebounds. And
he
stuff
took
like
up the space that he needs to.
Right.
And like you said on defense, he had a lot of those plays that are almost like Gobert-esque, where he's just kind of floating around and just like deterring drivers, like not actually blocking shots or anything, but it was like a guy would drive into the lane, and him just stepping over, his presence would make them either like kick it out or dribble back around. And there was times where that would happen like multiple times on one possession. And it's like, again, things like that is just changing the entire way that the other team is playing. And that's so huge. And one of those things that you almost can't really like, there's no way to kind of calculate the impact, but the difference in watching how we play when he's out there and when he's not is crazy.
Yeah. It's good to have that guy back.
Yeah.
There's a few, I saw just a couple people on like Twitter and stuff during the game. And again, it's not always like the most elite intellectual space or anything, but like, you mentioned the Tatum's game. Some people were kind of saying he kind of came into the game a little bit lazy. He had only one shot attempt in the first quarter. I don't know if you wanted to address any of the stuff that I had seen. Again, it's just, I think that's not exactly.
I mean, honestly, like,
I just don't want anyone to claim us that we have some kind of bias here.
No, I thought Tatum played a really good game. I thought, I love how he kind of has that part of his game where it seems like he can almost like ease his way into it and let the other guys get going. And again, if we came out and got down by 10 points in the first quarter, then I think that'd be a legitimate gripe. But we came out, and I think Porzingis, Drew, and White were just all had it going. Like we got off to, I mean, we scored 33 points in that first quarter, 41 points in the second quarter. And again, everyone had it going. It was White. And at one point, I think we had 25 points. Brown had 2. I think Tatum had none. And Drew, White, and Porzingis had all the rest. But again, we were generating great offense on every single trip. And I thought, it's a testament to Tatum to me that he doesn't care about that. He's not forcing it, and he's just making the right basketball play over and over again. Like what we were doing was working so well, and it was a lot of it was Tatum driving, drawing a ton of help, and then kicking it out to guys who were wide open. So I love that kind of process. I prefer this kind of game where it's spread out and the offense can be coming from everywhere. Then I mean, obviously it's fun to see Tatum is cooking and scoring 50 points, but in terms of like as an overall team, how I want our offense to look, this is it. So, I mean, again, It doesn't really, it's not going to be White scoring 30 points every night and being the leading scorer, like, obviously, but, I mean, I thought Tatum, ended up with, 25 points on 18 shots, I think 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and I thought, again, he just really let the game come to him. I thought when we first, it was really back and forth, we couldn't pull away until those last 2 minutes of the first half, and I thought that was just an excellent 2 minutes for Tatum. Again, he had, was just driving, kicking out of double teams, drawing help on the drive, getting to the basket when the help was late. I think he scored a few points, had a few assists, and that was where we kind of stretched it out from, I think we were down 1 and ended up going into the half up 9 and never really looked back. So again, it's like he knows this team is so good and there's so many good offensive players out there. He really can pick his spots. He shouldn't have to force anything. I thought the only really shot I had the whole game I didn't like was when he shot that kind of like deep corner fadeaway when we were only up 7. And I think that was actually the play that I referenced earlier when Hauser came in and had that huge play to keep that alive. And then I think it led to a Derrick layup that we quickly got that lead back up. But no, I have absolutely no issues with the way Tatum played tonight.
Yeah, and to your point too about just like everyone being involved. If you just go down the list here, White 30 points, Tatum 25 points, Porzingis 21 points, Holiday 16 points, Jaylen 17 points, albeit with the ejection, and Al Horford with 14 points. So, like, you really can't be that. I mean, if no one else is scoring and we lose this game by 20, I think that's a more legitimate gripe about Tatum or anything like that. Maybe not stepping up to take over. But I mean, when the rest of the team is playing that well, I mean, I think that's when the Celtics are at least at their best.
Yeah, the offense was unreal. There's nothing. I don't know how you could have any issues with the Celtics offense tonight. Like I said, it got a little stodgy at times in the fourth quarter, but 109 points through 3 quarters against one of the best defenses in the NBA, and I just think they're just generating a great shot like almost every single time down the court. So again, I don't care about stats. I don't care who's shooting. If we're getting good shots for all of the guys we're putting out there are guys who can make shots, and that was the way it was tonight. So. Like, yeah, can Tatum take over and cook guys and make crazy plays? Sure. But would I rather see us drive, kick, and get wide open corner threes over and over again? Yes. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I think if there was a situation where Tatum needed to do more, I'm sure that he could have and would have. But
he did it.
Well, he did.
There were a couple stretches where he turned it on and got to the rim. He was driving.
But I'm talking about in general. Like if we need him to go out and drop 50, like that can definitely happen. We've seen it happen, but. Doesn't necessarily need to happen every night.
And we lost his best scoring game of the season where he did that. We lost to the Hornets for what it's worth.
Touche. Very good point. So shout out to anyone on Twitter who was saying that Tatum was playing a lazy game. Just got put in a blind bag. Yeah, exactly. He played. I guess I can just go ahead and address the big elephant in the room here, the Chuddy Bar Parlay. Today I literally was getting to a point where I'm like, do I just need to take a step, take a breather, just take a break from the parlay?
So I know Porzingis overhit. I know the Hauser threes didn't hit. What was the third leg?
Derrick White 4.5 assists. I think he had 3.
Yeah, okay. He didn't get it. So I thought you've been hitting a lot of 2 out of 3. And I mean, the Hauser thing was just bad luck. How many nights are you going to... Sam Hauser's not going to go 0 for 5 from 3 very often. He got great looks. He's been hitting them all year. So that just, at a certain point, maybe you just cursed. I don't know. Maybe the move is to start taking overs for the opponents. So
that was one thing that I was...
Then it's a win-win.
Well,
at least use your mush powers for good.
Well, I did do that with one of the Hawks games, and I don't think that one hit either.
You took our guys' unders, I thought, right?
Oh, I'm saying
take the parlay Brunson, Randall.
I took unders. Was that what I did? Okay, yeah.
I think
I did try to do the reverse much, but yeah. And that's the other thing I'm trying to think about how to rework this thing. So I want to win the Chudling some money here, but at this point, I'm almost going bankrupt on my own little parlay, which was supposed to be a little fun little thing for me.
Yeah.
Has quickly become quite the expense for me.
We need that. We're waiting on that sportsbook sponsorship. So hit us up. Any sportsbook, you're more than happy to. We'll happily use you as our exclusive sportsbook of Chuddy's Corner. You could boost the Chuddy Bar parlays. It'll be great business. It'll be a win-win for everyone. So hit us up.
One thing I was thinking too is maybe even just I might just have to start including maybe the opponents in the parlays and stuff too. Maybe I'm confining myself to too much. I don't know though. It's a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. There's really no way around it. So
yes,
I'm not going to run.
A lot of fans have said they've had to take some extra shifts at the mines and in the factories to pay the bills. So
yeah. I'll probably be in those mines with you pretty soon. So yeah, just a truly unfortunate state of affairs right now for the Chuddy Bar Parlay.
It's tough.
Yeah, I have no words. It's just I have some words. Game. I just said them, but. None of them can make anyone whole again. At this point now, I'd have to hit 2 or 3 of them to even recoup my losses. It's like I don't know. My other thought was that I might just do just super juice, just to see the ball go through the hoop, like Tatum to score 10 or something like that, like Tatum to score 10, like Al Horford to have 3 rebounds, just do a super juice parlay that's even with 3 or 4 things, it's still just a minus 110 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to see the ball go through you just got to see the ball go through the net, but I don't know.
I think the wise gambling move at this point would be to just up the units until you catch up.
That might have to be it. Yeah, maybe we should just go all out on one.
Yeah, there you go.
The mega parlay. But yeah, it's bad. It's rough. Yeah. Do you have anything else necessarily game related to get into, or?
Just really that I was concerned. Like you said, the long layoff is always, you never know what you're going to get, especially with Porzingis coming back. Was worried about a little bit of rust, and then you never know if there'll be even a little bit of a letdown coming off the loss in the in-season tournament to just go back to a normal regular season game. But it was good to see that didn't seem to be the case at all. Again, when the offense is this good, it almost doesn't matter. But I would like to see a little more defense, especially again at kind of stopping penetration, because for a while there, it just seemed like we couldn't get 2 stops in a row. We were just going back and forth trading baskets, and those Knicks players were just getting into the paint at will, finishing around the rim. Just way too easy on it. And again, it's the kind of thing where it seems like maybe nitpicking on a night like tonight. But we played a little better defense in the first half. This game probably would have been a blowout, and a lot of the guys probably wouldn't even have to play in the fourth quarter. So, again, it happens. NBA teams, you can't.
This team always plays this close.
It's hard to complain about a 10-point win against a good team, but it just felt like for how well we were playing on offense in the first half, we should have been up a lot more than we really were.
I thought that too, because at one point they said that the Knicks are hanging around, and it's kind of well, I guess it is. Yeah, someone's like, why are they saying they're hanging around? They're keeping it close.
They were
winning.
But
they shouldn't be. Yeah, it's
right.
Really. It feels like we were just. It's hard to explain. It just felt like we should have been beating that team by more than we were. So
well, and again, it was them. It was the opposite of kind of what the keys to focus on were. I didn't really think we were hurting ourselves with any of the usual stuff. It was the Knicks were just keeping up with us in a shootout, and we were scoring at will, and they kind of were too. And it was, not what we usually see from that Knicks offense, but they made it work, and they really were hanging around again. And that game was kind of closer than it probably should have been for a lot of the game.
Why do Knicks fans hate Julius Randle so much too?
So, what a loaded question. First of all, he's body language is just historically bad. He always kind of just seems dejected. Even at one point in the first half, he had that charge and he just looked so pissed. And then he came down the next time and was posting up, and Derrick came in and stripped it from behind. And he just made the most dejected looked like he wanted to just go home. So I think that's a big part of it. He's hasn't been good in the playoffs is another part of it. And he really doesn't react well to the crowd. Didn't he give them the thumbs down when they were booing at one point? He did something where he thumbs down the crowd after he made a shot or something, his home crowd. He talked smack to. So it's been a long back and forth thing. And I also think, again, he's just that guy where it's big contract now. He made all NBA, but it's that kind of thing where it's he's really good, but if he's one of your main guys, it kind of caps the ceiling of the team. He can get into that kind of hero ball, and just when it's bad, it looks really bad.
All right, yeah, because it looks good when we've seen him, he looks good. I mean, the body language thing, you're right about that. They even mentioned that in the broadcast, but I don't know. You're the Knicks. You should be I don't know. You have.
Well, yeah.
What do you expect?
They probably don't appreciate him as much as they maybe should, but I think it's also just it just feels like he should be better and a bigger part of winning, where it seems when they're good, it's really Brunson is that guy. I don't know. He also just seems like he has some really gross shot selection a couple times where the Knicks were trying to cut it into single digits, and he would just put up a couple he had a gross 3-pointer. They got the offense board, kicked it out. He was running in and just immediately launched another 3 that just barely even grazed the rim. So I think it's just things like that where it's just it doesn't seem like he always has the best basketball IQ, and it doesn't always seem like maybe winning is his top priority, I guess, or being part of a team.
Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, if that's all.
Oh, the only one other thing was just a funny play, that jump ball between Pritchard and Hartenstein.
Porzingis psyched him out. He had him nervous.
I don't think you could even do that. Like, I don't think both guys just whiffed on the jump. The ball came down, and Porzingis just caught it out of the air. Like, I don't think that's legal.
Because I think it would have to be a re-jump, right?
I've never seen anything like that other than in like a video game.
Yeah, no, I think Porzingis or Pritchard just psyched out our boy Frankenstein there.
Yeah, seemingly after and Jaylen tried to absolutely end Hartenstein. Hartenstein actually blocked that. It still went in. That dunk was kind of a weird play, but Jaylen sized him out and was like, "Yeah, I am absolutely going to end you right now."
Jaylen had a pretty big dunk too that Brunson sort of ducked out of the way of. He made a good business decision there because he's probably seen a few of those graveyard dunks there.
That could have been ugly.
Yeah. So all right, well, Celtics.
But Hartenstein again, I got us to say, hats off. He had a nice game. Played over Robinson and was largely better than him. I think he had 16 rebounds. Just battling again. That's exactly the kind of guy between Mo Wagner, Hartenstein. It's not just specifically German players, but those kind of like gritty, hardworking. It seems like backup centers who just they know their role and they just relentlessly crashing the glass and just making like hustle plays down low. Always give us trouble. And he, again, I thought was one of their best players tonight. So. Shouts out to your least favorite player in the NBA, who I think is probably at least begrudgingly earning your respect with his play at this point.
Wow, you're really pandering to our German audience right now. Auf Wiedersehen, friends.
It's probably Guten Morgen over there.
Oh, yes. Anyone waking up early for the Chuddy's Corner out there, whoever you are, wherever you are, we appreciate our German listener.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. I mean, no, you're right. I mean, he did play well. For some reason, I feel like he just looks different than he did the first game he played. I don't know if he has like a different hairstyle. I feel like I saw him again. I'm like, I don't know why I thought this guy looked so much like Frankenstein, but he didn't have quite the Frankenstein look to him. But
maybe he had going for the Halloween season. Perhaps he was.
Yeah, it might have just been really zoned in Halloween. But all right, yeah. So to wrap it up again, Celtics get the 133-123 win over the Knicks. They move on to 16-5 on the season, 10-0 at home, and also just a good little stat is 9-1 in their division. I saw some stat that like no one else in the league has like even close to that many wins in their division. So,
interesting.
The teams that you play most often, to be able to beat those teams pretty frequently is definitely a good feeling. Not that divisions really matter so much in the NBA, but it's still just those are the guys you're going to play. I know, yeah. Those are the teams you're going to play the most. So to be able to kind of take care of business against them. Is definitely a plus. So and again,
those are solid teams. I mean, Philly, Knicks, Nets, Raptors, I believe, off the top of my head, is pretty solid division.
Yeah. So again, it's good to get those wins. Kick it over to you for around the NBA. What do you got for us going on around the league?
A lot going on around the league, really, but got to start with the in-season tournament, of course. After the Celtics got knocked out, we had the semifinals were last night in Vegas. The first game was just absolutely awesome. Real coming out party for the Pacers. Played a great game, beat the Bucks. Halliburton, unbelievable yet again.
He's crazy good.
27 points, 15 assists, 7 rebounds, and not a single turnover in sight. He just absolutely dominated. There was really nothing the Bucks could do, it felt like. And then not only that, in crunch time, after he had a huge shot, he did a lengthy Dame time celebration looking at his watch. Lillard was not too happy about that in his press conference. He sounded extremely salty.
I thought he said that he said that he respected it.
Well, he might have said I don't know what he said at first, but then he was like, you should just like, you shouldn't take it for granted when it's your moment. Like, that moment could be over before you know it. Or like, the tone and the underlying message, you could tell he was salty. He was not happy about that at all.
That's good stuff.
So a great game, and then the night game, as good as that game was equally as bad as the Pelicans really just no-showed, which is kind of weird. Didn't look good at all. Zion looked like he had been hitting every Vegas buffet before the game.
Yeah, I have a thought on this.
The Lakers, I think they won by 44. So, not a great game, but I think it sets up kind of the perfect final for this tournament where we have like the two opposite ends of the spectrum. You have the young, up-and-coming, super fast, super fun, likable team from a small market with the Pacers, who have everything to prove, taking on the NBA blue blood, the Lakers with LeBron, AD, all these superstars. So it's like, couldn't be more different teams, and I think that's great. And for the in-season tournament, I mean, I think this is what you want. I think it's been a huge success, and I hope that the finals are fun, and I obviously hope that the Pacers win.
Yeah, I definitely hope the Pacers win too. But I just had, because you just said that you were a little surprised by the Pelicans, and Scal said it too on the broadcast. He was surprised they no-showed. To me, that's like the most predictable thing ever. Like, their best player is just this fat slob who loves to have sex with porn stars and shit like that, and he's in Las Vegas. To me, it doesn't surprise me at all that team showed up flat. I wouldn't be surprised if they, like you just said, were at like a buffet or just at the Bunny Ranch or whatever, something like that. I mean, to me, that's like the least surprising thing ever that they go to Vegas and no-showed. But
I guess that's possible. But yeah. I thought they would have been more motivated by the financial burden to then go party in Vegas with all that money.
See,
maybe it doesn't really matter when they have as much money as they do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But Zion is just, I don't know. That guy is, I saw just a clip of him dribbling the ball up court. Like, he's just so diesel. Like, not even like,
no,
like, he's just fat.
He's big, and last night it was like he looked so out of shit. Like the way they were wrestling him, and he would come out. He played like 4-minute shifts and would come out. It was like hockey shifts with him. It's like, dude, it's December. It's not like the first week of the season. Like, you can't be in this bad of shape, and it's not like he's been hurt. He's not coming back from anything. It's just like, it's just bad. And honestly, it's
wild.
There's a million jokes about him, but it's actually like honestly kind of sad. This guy was one of the most freakish athletes ever, coming up through like high school and even in college, even his first 2 years in the NBA. If this is just kind of who he is, and he still is really good, it can really impact the game. But if his body is just not what it was, like, this could be one of those like best that never was situations, which again would just be sad. Well, I just hate to see that.
There's a video floating around of like a lot of his Duke highlights, and I forgot about that like corner three that he blocked in one of those games. I think that was like his first game, maybe. And it was just like, it's so weird to look at that because then he was like still like kind of like stocky, but it's just like it was definitely just like not athletic. Like no, now it's like he just literally he's starting to reach the territory of like your like uncle that's like at like your family party that's just like pass me the rock, like doing it. Yeah. So it's like obviously is like good or whatever, but like you said, just can't.
And I don't know if you remember
play long enough.
His AAU mixtapes were like legendary.
Yeah,
like he like unbelievable highlights even when he was a young teenager doing
it's
things
wild.
that NBA players can't do. And now, like I said, he's for him to be this young and potentially his body already breaking down. Seemingly, again, I don't know everything that's going on, but seemingly just because he can't get in shape is just like, I don't know. Maybe just needs like a change.
Breaking down calories and things like
Trade
that.
Him to like somewhere where there's like not as good of food and nightlife or something, like for everyone's sake involved. Like I don't know what's the best situation for him, but I'm starting to think maybe New Orleans is not it, just lifestyle wise.
Yeah, no, but again, I wasn't surprised at all because I mean, just the way they were laughing that video, like, what are you guys gonna do if you win? Like, it's like they probably were like already, I don't know. Yeah. It's a family show. I don't want to get too deep into what they might have been doing. But
yeah, I think everyone can use their imagination on that one. But.
Yeah. So, shout out to Zion.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of season left. The Pelicans, I still.
He's playing his way into shape.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right,
anyway, that was it for the IST. Great IST stuff. Otherwise, I don't know if you caught any of the Sam Amick interview with James Harden. Really good interview. It got a lot of good quotes about him. Basically explained the situation that Morey just like told him he was going to give him a max contract, and then they just like didn't talk to him like straight up. So he said a lot of stuff like that. He had some other funny quotes. At times he said, he repeated that he was an intelligent person. He kept saying what he was looking for, and every single time it was money and financial security, and then would throw in a good basketball situation, a team that can win. Just hilarious lack of self-awareness on all the quotes. And then the best part is
he kept repeating, I'm an intelligent person.
I think multiple times he just used that exact quote, I'm an intelligent person, in like the middle of sentences.
I feel like you have to repeat that multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. So good story. Anyone who hasn't read that, it was good, very good interview by Amick, and got really some great quotes out of Harden, and said some stuff that I don't even know if he's like allowed to say, and he's accusing people of like clearly breaking a lot of rules. So great read there. And then the highlight of the piece was PJ Tucker, who's obviously now on the Clippers, said the quote, when asked about the Clippers team with obviously Westbrook, Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi, he said, "There aren't enough basketballs on the earth for this team."
That's good.
Great quote to have a guy say about the team that he's on. So
That's
funny.
good. Especially a guy who I think has had like 0 points in like.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't score. Well, yeah, there's not enough. Certainly enough balls for him, but I think he meant it in a complimentary way to be like, we have all these guys who are so good with the ball, but it just comes off as like, obviously not.
That this is just a disaster setup
just
for a team.
It's like a selfish team and they'll never work because they all need the ball. So
that's awesome.
I think unintentionally hit the nail on the head with that one, which was funny to see.
Love that.
Yeah, another non-IST game, but another just brutal ref game the other night. It was a really, really good, fun Lakers-Suns game. I don't know if you caught the end of this, but the Lakers, I think, were
not the in-season tournament one?
It was not an in-season tournament game. Or was it? Now I can't even remember. Jesus.
Well, because they played in the first round.
Yeah, you're right. So it actually probably was the in-season.
I don't know. Did the court look wicked fucked up, or did it?
It was the in-season tournament. Sorry, you're right. But it was the quarterfinals. It wasn't Vegas. But the game ended. The Lakers were up 2, passed the ball in, and I think it was Reeves just like got it poked away, fell down, and LeBron didn't call. Was just screaming for a timeout in the ref's face. They gave him the timeout. The Lakers clearly didn't have possession. And that the Suns would have picked it up and had a layup to tie the game, and they just gave them a phantom timeout. So basically, just completely botched the game. And I mean that really decided it. So again, just another example of shitty officiating around the league, and go figure, it's favoring LeBron and the Lakers. So that's fun. The Pistons had a chance against the super shorthanded Grizzlies the other night. They did not come through with that. The Pistons lost again tonight to the Magic. I think they're up to 19 straight losses now.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw, yeah.
It's pretty bad. They're 2-20 something at this point, and I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just such a grim situation. We're gonna keep monitoring this because it's so bad. They have the highest paid coach in the league. He already doesn't look like he wants to be there. He doesn't look like he knew he was getting himself into a rebuild. He's just bizarre decisions in terms of who's playing, what they've done with the roster. It's really, really a disaster there. And it's sad because they have some good young talent on the team, but
they got Cade.
Shout
out Wilbon.
Shout out Wilbon. But no, on a serious note, like Oscar Thompson has been really good. Jaden Ivey, I still think is like a good player who oddly doesn't get to play much. I like Marcus Sasser. Jalen Duren has been great, even though he just got hurt. They're doing weird things with Wiseman and Bagley. It's just Killian Hayes is playing too much. It's all around just very weird, and it's like top to bottom. Like you're getting weird stuff from some of the players, really weird coaching. The GM's done weird stuff. I don't know what the move is, but certainly a situation to monitor. Speaking of situations to monitor, we've been having a lot of Zach LaVine talk. He's now going to be out 3 to 4 more weeks with his injury before it gets reevaluated. And on a somewhat related note, after the Bulls win tonight, they've now won 4 in a row since LaVine got hurt. So they were 5-14 without LaVine, and now they're 4-0 since he got hurt. So not exactly doing anything to bolster his trade value that apparently was already nothing.
Yeah. Not a lot of interest.
Yeah, so another gruesome scene in Chicago, but just kind of funny that they're now seemingly rallying without LaVine. So could be a Ewing theory candidate there for sure. And then the only other thing I had was Kelly Oubre quietly made his return to the court last night 2 nights ago for the Sixers. In his first game back, played again tonight, looked fine, just came in again quietly I think this story is just over. We're all just moving on. We're never going to know what happened. And it's just the end. A very quiet and anticlimactic end to a kind of a bizarre saga that started off with him getting hit and run by a car. And now possibly we don't even know he's just back playing and came in and I think scored 16 points off the bench. And seemingly we're just never going to talk about it again or never going to find out what happened. So I don't know. Do we still send the intern to Philly? I don't even know if it's worth it at this point. I don't know what to do.
No, I don't want the intern to get into any trouble down there.
Yeah, it's probably better to just let sleeping dogs lie on that one, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, good night of action tonight. Kind of cool. It's been a weird NBA week. We mentioned the Celtics long layoff. It's been kind of the one weird thing about the in-season tournament is that obviously we had the 2 semifinal games on Tuesday. We had no games last Sunday because of not knowing obviously who was going to be playing. Then we had only the 2 games on Tuesday. Then we had basically everyone else playing Wednesday, only the 2 games on Thursday. And then we had all the other 26 teams in action tonight on this Friday night. So it's been days with no games, days with all the games. Weird week, but a lot of good basketball. Excited for the finals tomorrow night of the in-season tournament.
Yeah. So, I want to keep it a little bit short, but I do kind of have almost like a surprise for you. I didn't want to give you a heads up on it because I didn't want you to brush up on this. But I don't know if you saw during the in-season tournament when they had like the combined like ESPN and TNT like crews or whatever, and they're asking Stephen A. Smith like random NBA players, and he didn't know.
They're
where,
playing
like,
the Barkley game with him.
Yeah, so I wanted to do that with you tonight to sort of show some of the Chuddy chops here. So
God,
I didn't really prepare this because I wasn't sure if we'd have like time, and then we're getting a little bit long on this episode. But I just want to go through. I'm just clicking on some of the games that were played tonight and just kind of clicking on. So I guess that's a little bit of a hint that they played tonight. So pretend you didn't hear that.
26 teams in the league.
All right. Isaiah Livers.
Pistons.
All right. Let's see here. Oh no, that one's easy. You and I know that one. Trendon Watford.
Watford. Oh, he's a good player. Is he still in Portland? Watford. Is he on the Bulls?
Oh, he's on the Nets.
The Nets. Damn it.
Fuck.
He was on Portland. He must have been in that trade.
All right.
He's on Portland last year.
Let's see here. Who do we got here? Wendell Moore Jr.
Jesus.
Is that
Wendell Moore Jr.?
He played.
That's grim.
He played 3 minutes tonight.
Yeah, that's scratching the surface there.
All right.
Team. Let's see. I'll guess. This can't be someone good. He's not on the Pistons, too. He is Wendell Moore Jr.
It's a Western Conference team.
Yeah, is he on...
Jeez, we're going to have to cut this
part.
part.
I don't know. The Blazers again? I'll guess the Blazers. I don't know.
What in doubt? No, he's on the Timberwolves.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm hesitant.
He's not in the rotation at all.
No, he's not. I guess so. Yeah, were those players they were doing yesterday at least like rotation players? Holy shit! Tristan Thompson's still in the league.
Yeah, somewhat decent.
Wow,
believe it or not,
wild. So
provided some good minutes. He's on the Cavaliers.
That's crazy. All right, we'll do one more here because this is getting brutal. Dean Wade.
Dean Wade, the accountant, also on the Cavaliers.
The accountant is that
that's his
a real nickname, or did you just...
No, I think Zach Lowe started that one just because he thinks Dean Wade is just the nickname. It's just an accountant's type of name. Right. He's one of those guys that we said if he had a cooler name, people would respect him more. But he sounds like an accountant.
Keon Ellis.
Keon Ellis is on. Is he on the Kings?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we'll end there because that's on a good note for you.
I'll take that. Oh yeah, 4 out of 6. That's not bad.
What I should have done. Have you seen the video of Stephen, or did you see it live? Because I was gonna say I should just use those names to put you up against Stephen A.
I saw some. I know like Ish Smith was on there. I saw a few of them, but I didn't see all of them. But
maybe we'll just do it every now and then. I'll just surprise you with some random players in around the NBA, just to keep us honest. So. Not bad.
Stay on my toes.
I threw definitely a curveball at you there. That one guy, after I clicked on him, I looked.
Wendell Moore Jr.
Minutes.
That's a deep cut. I mean, the rest of the guys, I could tell you most of them where they went to school. Those are actually, I mean, Isaiah Livers, another odd Pistons player. Speaking of weird guys playing, he was good. Went to Michigan, had some good moments. He's decent. So
yeah.
There's some real guys you mentioned.
So they got Cade and they got Livers.
They got Cade. They got Livers.
All right.
Things are coming around.
All right, well, that wraps it up for tonight's episode of Chuddy's Corner. We'll see you again, I think, on Sunday. Do we have like a 3:30 game on Sunday? I think it is.
So, again, this is kind of, I know it's been weird with that scheduling. So, like, as of now, there's nothing for the 10th. There's no games scheduled. But I don't know if that's going to change.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I think our next game is until Tuesday. I think Sunday is another day just off for the whole league
holy shit. Yeah, Cavs.
Because I think they had to schedule this in-season tournament stuff on the fly because obviously they can't have the schedule set because they didn't know
who's
going to be in the games. So I think they left a couple of these slates open. So that's why it's been really weird.
So it is. So Tuesday the 12th, we're playing the Cavs, and I think we're playing the Cavs again on Thursday. So we'll get a heavy dose of the Cavs and of the accountant and of Tristan Thompson making his return to Boston. So
yes,
we'll see everyone again on Tuesday. Again, follow me on Twitter at Doug_outs. Follow Chud at King Chuddy. Follow the show page at Chuddy's Corner, and please go and subscribe to all the pages wherever you get your podcast. Listen to it, whatever your second favorite place to get your podcast is. Subscribe to that too, and just go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube just because you should just do it. Chuddy's Corner, anywhere where podcasts are listened to, we're there. And we will see everyone again on Tuesday night. Celtics again, 133 to 123. Move on to 16-5 in the season. Chud, you have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Peace out, Chuddy heads.